Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marte. I am a makeup lover and I also do my nails myself. So today I was just thinking I would show you how I personally do it, but I am in no way, shape or form an expert at this. So if you actually want to learn how to do your own nails, I will leave a link down below to at least 1 or 2 accounts that I was watching here on YouTube to learn how to do my nails. And before starting to do your own nails, please educate yourself. You have to do a lot of research on how to avoid getting nail diseases and how to cleanse properly and all that kind of good stuff, because it is so important to not destroy the health of your nails. So I've been doing this for a couple of years now, maybe 3. I have not had any breaks doing my nails. I have always had gel nails since I started with it, honestly. And yeah, I guess we can just go straight into how I do this. As I said, please look at someone else if you want to learn how to do it. This is just how I personally do it, and I try to follow all advice that I've seen on websites and on other accounts. So I already lined up the stuff that I use here. So the first thing I do is to cleanse my nails, and I just use a cleanser that I have here from ended.com. I do not recommend purchasing from them because the last time I purchased I never got my order. It was only like $35, but still I never got it, and it was impossible to get in touch with their customer service. But this is basically just isopropyl alcohol, so any kind of strong alcohol in liquid form is great. I just use this bottle because it's a spray bottle and it's so much easier to just spray on your nails to cleanse. And then I use lint-free wipes just to make sure I don't get too much of the dust from the wipes onto my nails, because you don't want to trap that under your gel. And I know I didn't say so, but I use both gel but also polygel. Polygel is what I've been using lately because I find it so easy to shape, because it doesn't dry down like acrylic and you're still able to shape it like you do with normal gel. But it's a little bit harder in consistency, which is really great. So I just usually cleanse my nails first, and then I go ahead and fix my cuticles. So I push them back and then I cut off any excess cuticles or dead skin that I don't want to have on my nails. When that's done, I start filing down, and I use an e-file that I have right here. I do recommend to have an e-file if you are going to do your nails yourself for a long time, because it takes so much time if you have lifting to remove the gel on your nails. But it's like, I can never emphasize how important it is to be careful with an electric e-file, because it's very strong and you can really hurt your nail. I've always been super careful, so I've never hurt my nail, and that is also why I use so much time doing my nails, because I want to be very careful when I'm using my e-file. So I'm like super slow when filing down my my gel on my nails. So if you do use an e-file, you have to really learn a lot how to use it, and you have to be so careful. So that's what I would do next. I would file down, and usually I do have quite a bit of lifting on some nails. Now I've had these on for I think 3.5 weeks or something, which is why they have grown out so much. I will show you close up how they look now. I used a pigment from Makeup Addiction called Gossamer to create this this look on my nails. I've had this on for 3.5 weeks. Obviously now they look super dry because I just applied the alcohol, but I usually have a little bit of lifting. This one is the worst nail, and you can also see it a little bit on the sides, on the underside. I'm not sure if I can okay, I think you can see, because you see the darkness here. That means that there's like a hole between the gel and the nail. This is probably going to be a bit of a long video, but I'm going to try to keep it short. I will probably just show you how to do one finger or something, because as I said, I'm not an expert, and you shouldn't just listen to me if you want to do this. The next thing I do after filing down my gel is that I go ahead and cleanse again, of course. Then I use my nail dehydrator. Then I use my non-acid primer just to make sure that the gel sticks, and it's really nice to not have any acid because acid obviously can hurt your natural nail. Then I go in with 2 layers of my base gel. This one is actually from a Norwegian brand. Most of the other stuff I have from Wish. I will try to link everything. But I do recommend you to buy from a proper brand like Madame Glam, for example. I've heard a lot of good things about that brand, but Jessica Angelique, and I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, but I will leave her down below, and she has so many good products and her nails are amazing, so check out her channel for products if you want to buy stuff. This is my polygel that I use. I have quite a bit of luck with this one. I have a lot of polygels that are not good, so that is my next step. I use 2 layers of this one to make sure I have my whole natural nail covered, and when I have that on, I cleanse my nails again. Then I file it down to the shape that I want, and to do that I just use this one. And when I am done filing, I go wash my hands. Then I also like to use this buffer, by the way, to make the surface more smooth for when I'm applying top coat. But then I wash my hands, cleanse them again, and then I'm ready to apply some colored gel. Today I will be using this one. It's a Wish brand. So I'm going to use this one. It's a very nice purpley pink shade. And I will be topping it off with some chrome powder, so hopefully it will look like a mirrored effect. Usually I do have some bumps when I do that, but I don't personally mind. And for doing that I use my no wipe top coat. I think that's the top coat you have to use to make the chrome effect actually shine. And to apply the polygel you will need some slip solution. This one is not one that I like, so I have actually started to just use my cleansing solution here, isopropyl alcohol, and I just spray it into this one, and then I'm able to moisten my brush. I just use this one because I've tried some others and I'm not that good with the other brushes, so I just use this one, and then you're able to apply the polygel. And I will of course show you all of these steps, but as I said, only with one finger, because if not this video is going to last forever, because I can spend at least like 4 hours doing this, but I can also do it within like an hour if I have to. But I like to take my time to make sure that I like the results, because as I said, these have stayed on for almost 4 weeks now, so you're going to have them on your fingers for a while. Of course you will also need a nail lamp. I just use this one from Sun, I think it's called. See if I can link that too, but I think it's sold out, at least it has been lately. And I think I will just use my nail fan that I have here. It's something that just collects the dust when you're filing your nails, because I'm allergic to dust, so I get very sniffy if I don't make sure that I don't get all the dust in my nose. So I also like to use a air mask like this when I'm filing. So I think we will just get going. I'm going to clean all of this away and start filing. So I didn't really bring out my cuticle pusher, so I'm just using this one because I'm lazy. But you just want to carefully push your cuticles back. It might be smart to use a wooden cuticle pusher as well. This is just so that you can get as much of your natural nail showing as possible, so the gel will look like it lasts longer on you. So I'm basically being very gentle when doing this. I don't want to cut off too much. So I'm just cutting off whatever I feel like is excess. I don't really think it's that much here. And that's it for the cuticles. So I just started filing, so I've filed down my thumb and I've filed down my pointing finger. And now I will show you how I did that. As you can see, I do file away quite a bit from the edges just because I do have lifting. And I of course want to remove anything that might cause lifting. So it's going to be a bit noisy when I do this, but basically what I do is I try to file off all of the design that I have on my nail. So for me that is today my glitter. And then I focus a lot around the edges to make sure that any places where I might have a lift starting, that I remove all of that. So let's just do this. So now we have removed most of the design, so now I'm going to focus it a bit further onto the edges of the nail or the gel. And this is where you can start seeing where I have lifting, so it goes about here. So that's why I try to thin it out right here, so this will just loosen by itself. Here you see that it's touched my natural nail, so that's why I have to be super careful. And so I just want to finish the other nails. And before you ask, yes, this nail is weird, and it's because I actually lost the tip of my finger in 4th grade. So it's just lucky that I actually have a nail left on my finger, so it can look almost normal. So please don't ask about that, because it's really uncomfortable for me. Now I have filed off most of the gel, so then I will just be going in with this buffer to remove all kinds of shine and to just create an even surface. And then I go in with this one and I just like use it again as like a cuticle pusher, and to make sure I remove all the dead skin around my cuticle area. To me, this is a very important step, because after I started doing this with this exact tool, I started getting less lifting, just because I was able to remove all dead skin, because lifting comes from you not doing the prepping of the nail good enough. And I'm not perfect in any means doing this, but I just know that it's very helpful. And this file here is not very strong, so even though I'm not really putting a lot of pressure on, I don't think it would hurt your nail too much. But I'm always like living by the rule of being more careful than harsh, just to be safe that I'm not hurting my actual nails. So I think I'm quite happy with this. So it could be smart to use a nail brush. I will go ahead and go and wash my fingers, and then I will be back to show you how I apply my dehydrator, primer, polygel, and all that good stuff. I totally forgot to mention, but this will also be the time when I like go in and file the edges of my nails, just to make sure that I have a straight line. And I try not to be very rough, because like I did my nails professionally in Mexico, and she was so rough with the edges of my nails. And to me that just doesn't end up looking good either, because you'll have the growth being thicker. So I just want to make sure that it's like nice, but I won't file too much. And I also like to file a little bit on the edges here, but most of the shaping I do once I've put on the new polygel, just because I don't want to file too much now. I'll rather just put on more gel and then make sure that I get the shape that I want afterwards. So now I'm back from eating breakfast and I will just be cleansing my nails properly. So I'm just using that cleanser that I showed you earlier and wiping off my nails, just to make sure I don't have any excess oils or anything like that on my nails. And once I have that done, I'll be going in with my dehydrator first. And I'll basically just apply it all over the nail. You don't really want it on your skin. But next up we have the primer, so I'll be using my non-acid primer, and this one is a little bit more important to not get on your actual skin, and it does sort of, as you can see, it disperses itself, so you don't really have to go super close to your skin with it. And I just like to apply a generous amount to be sure that I have it all over my nail again. So now that that is done, I will be using my base gel that I have right here. This one is from a Norwegian website. I'm just going to apply 2 layers of this, and usually I apply it on all of my nails at the same time. What's important to think of is that you don't touch your skin, because the gel is going to dry once you put it in the UV light, and you don't want it to be attached to your skin, because that's like, you are going to have lifting if you do that. So I just try to go as close as I can, but not touching the edges. And I also like to make sure that I cap all of the edges here, just so that I won't have lifting too. But I also do that in the end before I apply the color gel. As you can see, it is sinking down a little bit here. So it could be smart to just do them one by one if you really want to make sure that you don't have any problems. So I usually let it be in the lamp for about 20 to 30 seconds. So I'm just going to apply the second layer right now, just to show you guys. And the second layer I like to do just because then I make sure that I have the whole nail covered. So then I can like go a bit closer to my nail and see that I actually have it everywhere. So this is just like the base for my polygel. And remember that gel is self-leveling, so that means like if you apply it here, it's going to float to the sides and disperse itself over the nail. So now I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to put on the polygel. Even though I have not used the base gel on my other nails, I'm just going to do this nail alone. And I think it's better to use too much polygel than too little, just because you can file it away to file the shape you want, and it's easier to just apply too much rather than to like reapply, so even though that's perfectly fine to reapply as well. But now I'm just going to put some cleansing gel inside of this little shot glass and then I'm going to moisten my brush with it, and I'm really going to get it all in there. And then I wipe my brush on either a towel or one of those lint-free wipes a couple of times, just to make sure that I have a little bit of moisture but not too much, because if it's too dry it is going to stick to the polygel. So you have to like re-moisten it several times. And now I want to make sure that I place the polygel so that I don't have a thick layer towards the edges, because that I have noticed can lead to lifting. And also if you get the cleansing solution underneath the gel, that will also be a part of your nails lifting. So just try to like disperse it nicely, and you really don't need a lot on the sides. What you do want to make sure of is that you have a nice apex, which will be here, just so that your nail is strong and won't break. As you can see, it's getting a little bit drier on the brush now, so it's starting to stick a little bit more to the polygel, and that is when you just re-dampen your brush, tap it on the towel or on a wipe, and then you can continue with shaping the polygel. And the more shaping you do now, the less you will have to actually do afterwards when you file. But again, it's no big deal if you don't shape it nicely, because you can file it. And I don't like to have a very thick nail. As you can see, I don't really even need anything more on the edge, because I left a lot of the old gel there. So I'll probably end up filing away almost all of that. And I know that this is actually a very stupid brush to use for this, because it's so small. It's just that I'm so used to it, so for me it's almost harder right now to use a proper shaping brush. So I just removed a little bit of the gel. As you can see, I do have a nice apex now, but the edges are quite thick. So if you want to, you can just try to adjust that right now, or you can just do it afterwards when you do the filing. What I really enjoy about polygel is that you can use as much time as you want to shape it. So I think I'll just say that this is okay for this nail. Of course you can see a lot of bumps and stuff, but I will be filing it away. So now I'm just going to leave it here for about 30 seconds. Now that this is finished, I just spray it with cleanser and then of course wipe it again. and then you're ready to file the shape. But I'm just going to do the rest of my nails first, and then I will show you how I do the shaping. Okay, so actually I do not want to add more polygel to these two nails because I feel like their shaping is already quite nice in my opinion. So I'm just going to go ahead and do those nails. As I said earlier, this one is the one that is fucked up. But I'm just going to go ahead with this gel color. I think this color is beautiful. And since I already have, because usually I will file down and then I will add some base gel on these, but now I'm just going to, since I already have the base gel here, I'm just going to go straight in with that color gel. So I will just apply, I don't really need several layers of this now because I'm going in with that chrome powder, but I think I might just do 2 layers or something. And as you can see, I have a small piece of fuzz or something that sticks here, and that will show through when I put the chrome powder on, sadly. But when I do my nails myself, I don't expect them to look like they were made in a salon. I'm happy with them looking good from a distance, honestly. But now I really want to make sure that I'm capping all the edges, just to make sure that I won't have any lifting. And if you spill anything, you just take your nail or a sharp object and just take it away, because this won't dry down until you put it under the UV lamp. And you really don't want too thick of a layer because that's going to make the gel polish like sort of crumble together on your nail and look really wrinkly, so you do not want that. So 1 layer would have been enough here, but I'm just going to try to like even out those few bumps, so I'm going to add 1 more layer just to see if that will even it out a little bit. And also, of course, when doing your nails, you don't necessarily have to use polygel if you have strong nails. Mine have always been weak, so I need that to be able to keep the length that I have on my nails. But if you have strong nails, or you just don't even want long nails, then you can just use the base gel after dehydrator and primer, and then use the color gel and just top it off with a top coat. You don't necessarily have to do the shaping and everything. This is just to build my nail to make it stronger and not break because of the length. So I will just be applying a layer of top coat to both of these nails, then I will cure it, and then I will buff the powder on top and repeat a couple of times just to have the opaqueness from the chrome powder that I want. And then of course I have to have a final layer of top coat, making sure you cap it. So the thing about this top coat is that it's not sticky now, so that's why it's good to use with this chrome powder. And the actual chrome powder looks like this, so it looks like a silver powder. If you want it to look more gold, you will have to have a super yellow color underneath. So the color you have underneath is actually really important because that's what decides how the color is going to be in the end. But now I'm just taking this foam tip applicator that came with the chrome powder, and I'll just be applying that. And it's important that you actually buff it in, because that's what will give you that shiny effect. Okay, so as you can see, this one is not looking shiny, so I'm wondering if I did not get enough top coat on there. Anyway, the next thing that I do is that I use a fluffy brush like this. This is just something that followed in an eyeshadow brush kit that I bought from Wish, and then I just brush off so that I don't have the actual powder on here. And then you want to use that top coat again, but since this one was not how I wanted it, I'm just going to cleanse it and apply a new layer of that top coat and then hope for the best. It looks way more shiny than earlier, so it definitely helped taking it away and trying again. I will also try to add a second layer of chrome powder to this nail, because if I'm not happy with it, I can just cleanse it away anyway. But I did notice that my top coat had a couple of bubbles in it, which again makes for an uneven surface on the nail and will stick out, of course, as a bump when you put on the chrome powder. And obviously applying a second layer of chrome powder will make the shiny effect even better, but it will also take away more of the color that you have underneath, because the silver is going to be more apparent. So here I'm applying a second layer of the top coat here, and then I will cure it, another layer of chrome powder, and then the last top coat layer. So I'm also going to put top coat there just to secure the powder, which I just buffed out onto the nail. Okay, so basically these are done now, the two here at least. These still need filing, and I will of course show you how I do that. The only reason I'm cleansing now is because I want to take away any powder that is stuck between the nail and my skin. So now I'm going to start with the shaping of my nails. So it's nice to start with the edges. So I'm just trying to hold this in a 90-degree angle. And this is how I will decide how narrow I want my nails to be. I really like the ballerina or coffin shape for my nails, and here is also when I decide the length I want my nail to be. As you can see, my nail is super thick, so I definitely want to narrow it. So often I start from the side and move it like this. And to get it thinner on the edge right here, you can also go like this. There are several great videos on how to actually shape your nail. When filing down your nail, you also want to move the file and not the nail, because then you will have an even line. So just use your, hold your hand still and then just move your file. So as you can see now, I'm just buffing my nail with this one to get a smooth surface. Then I will cleanse my nail and add dehydrator and primer and base gel, and then do exactly what you saw me doing on these two nails. And as you can see, I do have a nice strong apex right now. Apex is like sort of in the middle of your nail right here, and I really like this shape for my nails. So now I am finally done with my nails. I ended up putting 2 layers of the chrome powder on all my nails, and of course top coat on top of that. And since I cannot find my oil, I'm just going to use this Vaseline Intensive Care Hand and Nail Cream, which I really like. And it's really important to give some moisture to your nails after doing them, because of course you dry them out when you use so much alcohol on them. So it's just really important to moisturize. So my nails are not perfect at all, and I mean this top coat that I'm using, it's basically empty now. So it was feeling really dry and sticky, so I think I'll just end up throwing that one away now. But I still like how it looks, even though it's not perfect. I think it looks really pretty and shiny, and all of this that's like on the side of the nails, it's going to go away after a couple of washes. And I think this is going to look really pretty, especially like from a distance, as you can see. When you go really close up, you can see that there are a few bumps. This one was for some reason not as shiny as the others, so I don't really know what that comes from. But yeah, I am very happy with how they're looking, and I hope that in some way this was at least entertaining, if not helpful. And yeah, give me a comment down below what you think. If you have any constructive criticism, you're welcome to write it. I'm always looking for learning more about doing my nails and yeah, getting better. other than that, thank you so much for watching, and remember to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, or a thumbs down if you thought it sucked. And subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye!